So yesterday before I started a tennis lesson, I had one of my students who plays doubles ask me, hey, what advice do you have for me? I'm gonna start to play some singles matches. And so we talked about it and I came up with 5 tips to help my student play better singles as a doubles player in their next match. So let's get started. Okay, so the first piece of advice I have for you, if you are a doubles player and you're thinking about jumping in and playing some singles matches, is that singles is actually in many ways easier than doubles, so don't be intimidated, all right? It can be easier than doubles in many ways. If you're playing a doubles match, you have less court to cover, that is true, but you have more to think about and more to worry about, to where you've got to worry about what the other player's doing who's at the net, right? You see somebody getting ready to hit the ball, but then there's also somebody who can be moving around and poaching and doing all kinds of things to get in your head. And you also have to work in sync with your partner. You and your partner have to work and make shot selection together, which can be very, very tough, and you both have to be playing well at the same time. So in a singles court, there's less going on. It's just you and your opponent. It gives you time, I think, to think more and to create your own game plan. And the best thing that I love about singles over doubles is I find in doubles, since sometimes you're getting about half the shots, or let's say you're the stronger player, you're getting sometimes less than half the balls hit to you, is in singles, you know every ball is coming to you. So I think it's easier to get into a rhythm. So you might really, really enjoy singles because there's less to think about, less to worry about in many ways, and you know every ball is coming to you. So it really gives you a chance to get into a great rhythm. So that's my first piece of advice, is to enjoy it. Don't be intimidated by it. All right, so let me give you my second piece of advice coming up right now. So my second piece of advice for you, if you're gonna play a singles match, to get your opponent moving around, you don't have to hit the ball as close to the lines as you think you do. And I've heard this from so many of my students when they transition from playing a doubles match to a singles match, like, I keep forgetting about the lines. I keep missing so many balls wide on either side because I think I'm playing doubles, okay? And I'm gonna take the lines right out of it for you. Right here, see what I've put down here? You see the center of the court? And I got balls right here. Just off center is all you have to do to get your opponent moving a lot. And I'm not saying that you have to hit one shot over there to that side to the tennis balls, and then the very next shot has to go there, and you have to keep ping-ponging back and forth. It might take you 3 shots over there, and then all of a sudden you're ready to change and go to the next side. But what I want you to do is, rather than aim for lines, is just try and get the balls on the opposite sides of the tennis balls. Now, it's gonna be very hard for you to just look at what I have set up for you and then be able to execute this idea when you go play your next match. So what I suggest is you set the balls up just like I have them, you set up those lanes, and then you go on the ball machine, or even do drop feeds to yourself, or maybe somebody will be nice enough to ride with you, and you practice hitting one side to the other. And you want to hit more cross court than you do down the line. So go out and practice that, and you're going to see that you're able to move your opponent much easier, and you make a lot less unforced errors. Okay, my third piece of advice, if you're going to play some singles matches, is start to work on getting really good at a deep up the middle. Now we want to go right through the middle on a return. If I can, you see where I just put that ball? If I can master that return right there, I'm going to win a ton of matches, because think about it, that becomes actually more difficult for most players than hitting the ball off to the side, off to a corner. If I serve the ball, right, and then the ball comes a little bit over there, out here, and bounces here, well, now it gives me the time to hit, recover, move over, and hit a comfortable ground stroke. Where if someone especially is really putting their body into the court, really jumping into the court, and they land and they get to about right here. If you can hit that ball right at their feet, this is what Novak Djokovic does so well. It comes right at the feet, and then the opponent is late reacting. They make unforced errors. They give you an easy short ball to attack. So really, really work on putting that ball right up the center. Again, you can practice having a ball machine. You get in the deuce corner and then the ad corner. You just practice hitting that ball right up the middle. You can put that ball right there, you're going to be winning a ton of points. So what would your strategy be in return games? First ball up the middle, then you try and work the ball to either side of the tennis balls I have there, and you're going to start to win points so easily. All right, let's get to tip number 4, so you can transition from the doubles court to the singles court and not make a fool of yourself. Okay, my 4th piece of advice for you, if you are a doubles player and you're curious, you want to play some singles. Now, you probably heard this tip. It's a very basic tip, and it's going to be killing you in a singles match. In fact, it hurt my student to where she said, I was always trying to recover back to the middle, and I was just running all over the place. So imagine this, hitting a shot here, and then trying to get all the way back to the middle, and then hitting a shot here, and trying to get all the way back to the middle every time. Especially, let's say you're in a cross-court rally. That's when it's really a killer. You hit a shot, and then you're trying to get back to the middle, and then you got to go all the way back again. And you're moving a lot more, you're getting a lot more tired, and you're just not covering the court with efficiency. The middle of the court changes according to the angles. And when you start to play singles, especially if you start to play some good singles, there's going to be lots of pattern play. And the most basic pattern, the highest percentage pattern, the one that wins the most matches, is just a nice solid cross-court ball. This game is not rocket science. You don't have to do as much as you think you do to win a lot of matches. And so if you're getting into a cross-court rhythm rally, this tennis ball now becomes your center that you need to get back to. You don't need to come all the way back to the middle. So think about this. If you're in a cross-court rally and your opponent's only recovering about there, and you're taking that extra step every time, and then you're going to have to run back out there, you're working a lot harder, and eventually your opponent's going to get you to move a lot easier and create an unforced error than you're doing. So if I just take this tennis ball here and I hit a cross-court shot and I just worry about recovering there, look how much easier that is in this rally. I'm not really working that hard, where just that extra couple of steps makes it a lot more difficult to get back every time. All right, so what you want to do is you want to be hitting cross-court, 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 and then let's say you see a chance to go down the line. So I'm hitting cross-court. Now, let's say I'm just going to chip a ball down the line here, right? Now, what should I do then? There's a couple of options here. One's a little more advanced. The basic option that most people will tell you is now all of a sudden the center becomes over there. So you hit it across there. Now you got to kind of go across the plane of the court and recover right here and anticipate getting another cross-court rally this way. That's a good piece of advice. But what you're going to see a lot of advanced players do is actually hang out on this side. So if you're somebody who has a big forehand, or you have pretty good foot speed, if you have both, then I suggest you definitely do this to where you're in this cross-court rally, you're hitting cross-court, then you hit one down the line. I suggest you come still to this tennis ball. Now, why do you want to do that? Because what you want to do is invite your opponent to hit to the forehand side, or even they hit some to the backhand side. Remember, you just put them in that corner down there to where now you can, even the ball comes over your backhand, you can take a step or two and hit a nice inside out forehand. Lots of times that'll be a winner or a shot that they can't run down and do much with. You can either come to the net and put the ball away. So that's really what the pros are doing these days, is they're getting in some cross-court battles, then they're looking to change up the direction, and they kind of stay put over here, baiting the open court. So if it comes to that open court, they're fast enough to get there. They can maybe rip a ball down the line or get into another cross-court rally, and this is a great thing to do. Let's say, just for your final thing, what happens next if they get the ball back? Let's say you hit this shot, boom, you chip it down the line, or you hit topspin, whatever you want to do. Now you got a forehand, and let's say the ball comes over here, and you just hit it cross court, well, now all of a sudden, now you're just back to this tennis ball, and that's how you play and move around the court without having to work so hard. Let's get to my final piece of advice so you go out there and play some great singles as somebody who mostly plays doubles. My final piece of advice is when you play singles, you're really going to get to probe and expose your opponent's weakness a lot easier than you on a doubles court, right? On a doubles court, you kind of hide things. You only have to cover half the court. On a singles court, everything is exposed. And what too many people do is they come out on the singles court and they know that they're going to get to hit and rip a lot of balls. And that feels the best, and that's what you're seeing. That's what you're mostly seeing on TV in your mind, is that these pros are coming out hitting bomb serves, huge forehands, huge backhands, and of course you want to do that. And you're thinking more, you want to rip the ball nice, and you want to hit a nice solid ball. Nothing feels better in tennis than hitting a nice solid ball like I just hit there. That feels amazing off the racket. Now, what the problem is there's a reason why we're playing recreational tennis. That's not easier for us to do 10 times in a row. We might be able to do it once in a while and it feels great. The other thing is even when we do it, look how that ball went. It went low over the net, it bounced, and it basically, if it was going to my opponent, it would have bounced right here, right in their strike zone. So you might be feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm playing great tennis, they're playing great tennis, and you're basically hitting everything right into each other's strike zone. And if you're not better at doing that than your opponent, you're going to lose. There's one thing that Jorge Capestany says, he's one of my favorite coaches online. He says, all you have to do in singles is figure out the one thing that you're better at than your opponent. Even if they're better at everything else, you just find one thing that you're better at, you can beat them. So what you need to do on a singles court is probe a lot more. And the best way to start probing is to probe with height, spins, and depths. So rather than trying to hit everything like a bullet, right? You want to hit some balls intentionally higher over the net and deep to the backhand corner. You want to intentionally maybe chip a ball and hit it short and low, so now they've got to run. And you want to see how they respond to these different looks that you're giving, rather than always giving them the same exact look where you're trying to rip everything. That's a hard way to go about it. Unless you play in the absolute zone, you're going to walk off the court a loser many times. So there you go. If you're somebody who's trying to get into the singles game, that's my 5 pieces of advice for you to follow so you can go out there and feel comfortable out there. I wish you the best of luck. Now, whether you're a singles or a doubles player, we're in November, and this is the time where you should start to be thinking about your goals for next year. Where you want to be as a player? Do you want to go up a level? What do you want to improve the most? And there's actually 5 big rock fundamentals that you want to key in on if you want to go to the next level next year. And I've got a free 8-part training series to help you figure out what they are and how you can go up the next level in the next year. So check it out. It's right here in the card section, or I'm also going to put in the description below. So you got 2 choices, either in the description or in the card section. Click that link. It will take you to a free training series so you can start to really get your game face on. Get ready for an awesome 2020. This is Pete from Crunch Time Coaching signing off. Comment below. Let me know, what did you think of this list? What would you add to the list? Do you play singles? Do you play doubles? And don't forget to ding that notification bell if you like this video and you don't want to miss my next one.